Stop scrolling. This tiny coin may look ordinary, but in perfect, uncirculated condition, it can fetch hundreds, even thousands, at auction. If you have this coin, you could be holding a fortune in your hand without even knowing it. What if I told you that a tiny copper coin sitting quietly in a jar, forgotten in a drawer, or hiding inside an old family coin collection could be worth as much as $60,000? What if I told you that the difference between an ordinary day and a life-changing moment could come down to one small detail on a single penny? And what if that penny was dated 1958? If you have this coin, you might be the luckiest person in the world, and by the end of this story, you'll understand exactly why collectors go absolutely crazy when one specific version of the 1958 wheat penny appears at auction. The 1958 wheat penny, officially known as the Lincoln wheat penny, marks the end of an era. It was the final year this iconic design was ever produced. For nearly half a century, Americans carried this coin in their pockets. From 1909 until 1958, the familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln appeared on the front, while two elegant wheat stalks framed the words, "1 cent," on the reverse. These wheat ears symbolized prosperity and growth, and for decades they became one of the most recognizable images in American coinage. By 1958, the United States was changing. The post-war boom was in full swing. Families were moving into suburbs, televisions were lighting up living rooms, and a new sense of optimism filled the air. But quietly, behind the scenes, something historic was about to happen at the Mint. 1958 would be the last year those wheat stalks would ever appear. In 1959, the reverse design would change to feature the Lincoln Memorial. That means every 1958 wheat penny represents the final chapter of a 49-year story. Now here's where things start to get interesting. Millions of 1958 wheat pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. Most of them are still only worth a few cents, maybe a few dollars in excellent condition. But there is one version of this coin that has stunned collectors, shocked auction houses, and made headlines in the numismatic world. And if you have this coin, you could be the luckiest person alive. Before we reveal the extraordinary version, let's understand what makes this coin special in the first place. The obverse shows Lincoln's calm, dignified profile. Above his head, the word liberty. To the right, the date 1958. Beneath his shoulder, the motto, "In God We Trust." On the reverse, those iconic wheat stalks curve inward, framing the denomination and the words, "United States of America." It's simple, elegant, and deeply symbolic. Most 1958 pennies were made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. They have a rich reddish-brown color when well preserved. Over time, many turned darker as they circulated through countless hands. But condition matters enormously. A 1958 wheat penny in pristine, uncirculated red condition can already command respectable prices at auction. Collectors pay close attention to color grades: brown, red-brown, and full red. The brighter and more original the red color, the more valuable the coin. But none of that compares to the legendary error coin that has electrified the hobby, the 1958 double-die obverse wheat penny. This is not a simple scratch or minor imperfection. A double-die error happens during the minting process when the die that strikes the coin receives a misaligned impression from the hub, causing noticeable doubling in the design. On the rare 1958 double die, the doubling is dramatic and unmistakable, especially in the lettering. Imagine examining your 1958 penny and noticing that the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" appear slightly doubled, almost as if they were printed twice, slightly offset. To an untrained eye, it might look like damage. But to a seasoned collector, it's the sign of a rare minting mistake that should never have left the mint. Here's the shocking part. Only a handful of genuine 1958 double-die obverse wheat pennies are known to exist. Some experts believe fewer than 5 authentic examples have ever been confirmed. That's not 5,000, not 500, just a few. That level of rarity transforms a simple 1-cent coin into a legendary treasure. When one of these coins appears at auction, the numismatic community pays attention. Serious collectors prepare their bids. Auction houses promote the coin heavily. The excitement builds. And when the hammer finally falls, the numbers can be breathtaking. One example of the 1958 double-die obverse wheat penny has reached prices around $60,000 at auction. $60,000 for a penny. If you have this coin, you are not just lucky. You are unbelievably lucky. Think about that for a moment. A coin originally worth 1 cent, capable of buying almost nothing on its own, transformed into a 5-figure collectible because of a tiny mistake in the minting process. That is the magic of coin collecting. That is the power of rarity combined with demand. But how did such a rare error even survive? Most mint errors are caught and destroyed before coins enter circulation. In 1958, quality control was already fairly advanced. The fact that even a few doubled die coins escaped is remarkable. Some believe they may have been discovered early and quietly preserved. Others imagine that a small number slipped into circulation unnoticed, only to be discovered decades later by sharp-eyed collectors searching through rolls of pennies. And here's where your story could begin. Maybe you inherited a jar of old coins from a grandparent. Maybe you enjoy searching through bankrolls on weekends. Maybe you've had a 1958 wheat penny sitting in your collection for years without realizing its potential. If you have this coin, you might be the luckiest person in the world. But you must know what to look for. The doubling on the genuine 1958 double die obverse is bold. It is not machine doubling, which can appear flat and shelf-like. True double die doubling shows clear separation in the letters. The effect is strongest on Liberty and In God We Trust. Under magnification, the doubling is crisp and rounded. This is the detail that separates a common penny from a coin worth thousands at auction. Of course, authentication is crucial. Because of the enormous value, counterfeiters have attempted to fake this coin. Some alter the date. Others try to artificially create doubling. That's why professional grading services play such a key role. When a genuine example is certified and encapsulated by a respected grading company, confidence skyrockets, and so do auction results. Let's talk about demand. The Lincoln Wheat series is one of the most collected coin series in American history. Millions of collectors try to complete full date and mint mark sets. When you add an ultra-rare error from the final year of the series, the appeal multiplies. It's the last wheat design. It's a dramatic mint error. It's extremely rare. And it has a powerful story. All these factors combine to create intense competition whenever one appears at auction. Picture the auction room. Bidders seated, others on the phone, some online. The auctioneer describes the coin. 1958 double die obverse, one of the finest known examples. The bidding begins. 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. The tension rises. 45,000, 50,000. Finally, the hammer falls around $60,000. Applause fills the room. A single penny has just changed hands for the price of a luxury car. And somewhere out there, another 1958 penny might still be waiting to be discovered. It's important to understand that not every 1958 wheat penny is worth a fortune. Most are common. But even common examples in superb condition can bring strong prices at auction, especially if they are graded at the highest mint state levels. Coins graded MS 67 red or higher can sell for impressive amounts because perfection is rare, even among common dates. Still, it's that double die version that captures imaginations. It represents the dream scenario. The possibility that something ordinary could be extraordinary. The idea that you could unknowingly possess a coin that collectors would battle over at auction. So what should you do if you find a 1958 wheat penny? First, examine it carefully under magnification. Look closely at the lettering on the obverse. Compare it with verified images from trusted sources. Do not clean the coin. Cleaning can destroy value instantly. If you suspect doubling, consult an expert or submit it to a professional grading service. Remember, condition and authenticity are everything. A genuine 1958 double die obverse in strong mint state condition is the coin that has reached around $60,000 at auction. That price reflects rarity, demand, and the excitement of competitive bidding. Auction results can vary depending on market conditions and the specific coin's grade, but the legend of the $60,000 penny is very real. If I told you that a single coin from 1992 could transport you through centuries of Mexican history, connect you to powerful national symbols, and maybe even hold a surprising value for collectors, would you believe me? What if that coin, a simple 1 peso piece, has quietly sat in a drawer, in your wallet, or buried at the bottom of a jar, waiting for someone to notice it? If you have a 1992 1 peso Mexico coin, you might just be holding more than currency. You could be holding a piece of history. The 1992 1 peso coin from Mexico is not just a round piece of metal. It's a symbol of a country's identity, a snapshot of its economy, and a canvas of national pride. On one side, you'll find the iconic Mexican coat of arms, the majestic eagle perched on a cactus, devouring a serpent, an image steeped in myth and legend, reflecting the founding story of Tenochtitlan and the rich cultural heritage of Mexico. Around the edge, the inscription Estados Unidos Mexicanos proudly proclaims the unity and sovereignty of the nation. This side of the coin isn't just decorative. It's a story in itself, connecting each coin holder to centuries of tradition, conquest, and resilience. Flip the coin, and the other side reveals the denomination, un peso, the numeric $1, and the year, 1992, clearly stamped below. The design is clean, elegant, and practical, meant to circulate widely, but over the decades, it has become a collectible piece precisely because it represents a moment in Mexican monetary history. The coin itself is made of durable alloys, giving it a sturdy feel and a distinct color and shine that collectors often refer to as a warm, golden bronze tone, a subtle reminder that even small denominations can have aesthetic appeal. But why does a 1992 1 peso coin matter today? Why would collectors and enthusiasts stop and examine this coin more closely? The answer lies in its rarity, its condition, and sometimes its small minting anomalies. Most coins from 1992 were mass-produced for circulation, and millions of pesos entered everyday commerce. Yet, not every coin survived the wear of daily life in pristine condition. Those that did, coins with sharp edges, clear inscriptions, and full detail on the eagle and serpent, are considered highly collectible in today's numismatic world. Some of the most exciting discoveries come when collectors notice tiny errors, a slight misalignment in the eagle's wings, doubling in the lettering, or imperfections in the rim. These minting quirks are what transform an ordinary peso into a coin worth attention at auctions or in private collections. Just imagine holding a coin that escaped the presses perfectly aligned, yet with a subtle anomaly that makes it one of only a few of its kind. That's the thrill collectors chase, the idea that a coin you casually find in a change jar could be unique. Condition matters immensely. A coin that has spent years in circulation, nicked and worn, might only be worth face value, or a few dollars to collectors. But a coin that's been preserved in a collection or forgotten in a box for decades can command attention. The finest specimens are graded by professional services to ensure authenticity and condition. Coins with full luster, no scratches, and perfect detail on the eagle and cactus design can see a significant jump in value, even for a denomination as modest as 1 peso. Beyond condition, the 1992 1 peso also has historical significance. The early 1990s were a pivotal time for Mexico. The country was entering a new era economically and politically, with global trade agreements on the horizon and monetary reforms in place. Each peso minted that year represents that period, a bridge between past traditions and modern change. In a way, every coin is a tiny artifact of the nation's story, linking the person who holds it to a larger narrative that shaped Mexico's path in the late 20th century. If you're a collector or just someone who appreciates history, finding a 1992 1 peso coin in excellent condition can spark curiosity, excitement, and even speculation. While many coins are available, the thrill comes when you come across a piece that is unexpectedly well-preserved, has unique characteristics, or forms part of a full set from the year. Collectors often seek coins like these not just for monetary value, but for the story, for the heritage, for the tangible connection to a moment in time. And here's the secret that keeps coin enthusiasts glued to collections and auctions. Sometimes, the most mundane-looking coins hide incredible surprises. A 1992 1 peso might seem ordinary, but one subtle detail, a mint mark variation, a minor doubling, or a color difference, can turn it into a sought-after rarity. That's why the careful examination of every coin is a ritual in numismatics. If you hold a coin with perfect detail, pristine edges, and brilliant surfaces, you're not just holding money. You're holding a piece of history that collectors dream about. Imagine discovering one of these coins tucked away in your family collection, or spotting it among your change. The excitement of realizing it's a gem in disguise is indescribable. And even though it may not fetch tens of thousands of dollars like ancient rarities, its value as a collectible can still be remarkable, especially to enthusiasts building a complete set or a special thematic collection of Mexican coins. Each peso carries not only monetary significance, but also cultural weight. So, the next time you come across a 1992 1 peso coin, pause and look closely. Examine the details of the eagle, the cactus, the serpent. Notice the inscriptions, the edges, the year. Appreciate the craftsmanship. Whether it's circulated or uncirculated, common or with a subtle minting quirk, this coin is more than metal, it's a story. And in the world of coin collecting, every story has a value. Because sometimes, the simplest coins hide the greatest treasures. Sometimes, the ordinary becomes extraordinary. And sometimes, a single peso from 1992 can make you stop, look, and realize you're holding a piece of history in the palm of your hand. So before you toss that 1992 1 peso back into a jar or overlook it in your change, take a moment to really look. Because while it may seem like just another coin, it carries decades of history, culture, and craftsmanship in its small, unassuming frame. The eagle, the serpent, the cactus. Every detail tells a story of Mexico, its heritage, and the era in which it was minted. Collectors know that even coins that appear ordinary can hold hidden value, whether it's exceptional condition, a rare minting error, or simply the thrill of completing a collection. That's the magic of numismatics. The smallest discoveries can spark the greatest excitement. So, check your old collections, inspect your loose change, and examine every 1992 1 peso carefully. You never know. The coin you've held in your hand for years could be the hidden treasure someone else would fight to acquire. And even if it isn't worth thousands, you're still holding a piece of history, a tangible connection to the past, and a reminder that sometimes extraordinary value can hide in the most ordinary places. If someone told you that a simple 1999 D1 cent coin could be hiding something unusual, would you believe it? At first glance, the 1999 D penny looks completely ordinary. It's a modern coin, still commonly found in circulation, and most people wouldn't think twice about it. But in the world of coin collecting, even modern pennies can carry surprising value, especially when errors or exceptional condition come into play. The 1999 D1 cent coin is part of the Lincoln Memorial Cent series. This design replaced the earlier wheat reverse in 1959 and features the Lincoln Memorial on the back. On the front, you'll see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, along with the date 1999 and the small D mint mark, indicating it was struck at the Denver Mint. In 1999, billions of pennies were produced, including a very large number at the Denver Mint. Because of this high mintage, a regular circulated 1999 D penny is typically worth only face value, 1 cent. Even in uncirculated condition, most examples sell for just a small premium, often between 10 cents and a few dollars, depending on grade. However, things get interesting when we talk about condition and errors. High-grade examples graded MS 67 or higher by professional grading services can sell for significantly more at auction. Why? Because while billions were made, very few survive in near-perfect condition. Collectors who want the finest known examples will compete aggressively at auction, sometimes pushing prices into the hundreds of dollars for top population coins. But the real excitement comes from error varieties. Some 1999 pennies, including certain Denver issues, have been found with doubled dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, or die cracks. One particularly famous variety from 1999 is the 1999 wide AM variety, more commonly known on Philadelphia coins, where the spacing between the letters A and M in America on the reverse is noticeably wider than normal. While the wide AM is primarily associated with the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, collectors always examine 1999 D coins closely just in case of unusual reverse details or transitional die usage. If you're checking a 1999 D penny, here's what to look for. Sharp, original red color, full red designation increases value. Strong strike details. Any doubling in lettering. Unusual spacing in the reverse design. off-center or misaligned strikes, minting errors like clipped planchets or die breaks. If you happen to find a dramatic mint error on a 1999 D penny, its value can jump from 1 cent to $50, $100, or even several $100s depending on the severity and demand. Coins with certified major errors have sold at auction for impressive premiums compared to their face value. Still, it's important to stay realistic. A normal circulated 1999 D 1-cent coin is extremely common. The excitement comes from condition rarity or mint errors, not the standard coin itself. So what should you do if you have one? First, don't clean it. Cleaning destroys collector value instantly. Second, examine it under magnification. Compare it to verified images of known varieties. If you suspect something unusual, consider having it authenticated and graded by a reputable coin grading service. In most cases, the 1999 D penny will simply be worth 1 cent. But in the world of coin collecting, it only takes one unusual detail, one overlooked error, to transform an everyday coin into something collectors will compete for at auction. And that's why even a modern 1999 D 1-cent coin deserves a closer look. So before you toss that 1999 D penny back into your pocket or drop it into a jar without a second thought, take just a moment to really look at it. Because while most of these coins are worth only 1 cent, history has proven that sometimes the smallest details make the biggest difference. A tiny mint mark from Denver, a subtle doubling in the letters, an unusual strike that slipped past quality control. That's all it takes to turn an ordinary coin into something collectors chase at auction. Remember, the 1999 D issue from the Lincoln Memorial Cent series carries the enduring portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design that millions overlook every single day. But collectors know that even modern coins can surprise you. High-grade examples and genuine mint errors have brought strong prices at auction, proving that value isn't always about age. Sometimes it's about rarity and condition.